They sell plans on Etsy. You can also hire an interior designer to give you a plan or hire a contractor to just give you a blueprint or how to do something. Hey guys, it's Kara, aka the Pretty Little Lawyer, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if this is not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to create an elevated home that feels calm and put together. I want to preface this video by saying that these are things I needed to hear when I was starting my journey decorating my home and learning interior design as a process. So they're less practical tips and more tips for how to regulate your nervous system during this experience. So let's get into it. My first tip is to be true to yourself. I know you hear this all the time, but as it relates to interior design, this means that you should focus less on what the current trends are and focus more on what you actually like. If you are someone who has been doing this for a while or someone who has been decorating your space for some years, you know that the trends change every year. Someone will put out a video for 2025 interior design trends, and then in 2026, they're telling you to do something completely different. And if you follow those trends, you're going to fall into one of two categories. You're either going to be revamping your home constantly, which gets expensive, time consuming, and is just not satisfactory, or you're going to end up in the bucket where you hate your home, you don't think your home is elevated, you lose a sense of comfort in your space, and you don't really want to be in either one of those camps if you're trying to create a calm space. So my advice is to forget the trends and focus on what you like. And the second tip is going to help you do that, and that is to take your time. If you are just starting out on your home decor journey or you're somewhere in the middle, I would suggest that you spend more time in the research phase than you do in the executing phase. The research phase includes figuring out what you like, what you're capable of doing yourself, and what you are able to spend. If you spend more time in that phase, you'll make less mistakes. You'll end up buying less stuff that you end up not liking later. You'll end up not having to redo an entire room because you didn't figure out what you liked the first time around. And you'll just have a much more enjoyable experience. So coming from someone who is sitting in a room that has looked very different in almost every video that you have probably watched on my channel, I can say from experience that if you spend more time figuring out what it is that you actually like, you'll spend less time redoing it. My next tip you guys are not gonna like. Especially the budget girlies, especially the people who followed me because I was like very DIY and budget conscious in the beginning of my journey. If you followed me for those reasons, don't fret, I'm still that girl, but I am going to tell you that you need to spend the money. Now, here are all the caveats to that. If you're doing what I suggested in the last tip, which is taking your time and figuring out what you really like, you're not going to be spending a bunch of money on stuff you don't need or stuff you have to change out later. And you're going to be spending less money replacing stuff. But also, while you're taking your time, you can be saving up for things that are actually going to last, for furniture that is quality, for things that you actually like that might be more expensive, for decor that is going to last. And it's actually going to save you money over time. So there's a phrase that I'm sure you've heard, which is buy it nice or buy it twice. And that could be because the product is not quality and it breaks down, or it could be because you bought something that was cheap that you actually don't like, just to fill the void of something that you actually want. So I'm going to tell you to spend the money. And I'm going to hit you with a double whammy because the next tip is to hire a professional. I know. I know. I'm a DIY girly. I like to do things myself. So let me break down what I mean by hire a professional. Really, I'm saying ask for help. Watch the YouTube videos, read the how-to articles, do the research online, but then if you still need help, you can hire a professional. And I'm not saying go out and hire a contractor that's going to charge you $10,000 for something you might actually be able to do yourself. But rather, if you aren't really familiar with like how to measure or what to do or how to actually build something from scratch, they sell plans on Etsy. You can also hire an interior designer to give you a plan or hire a contractor to just give you a blueprint or how to do something. So maybe not spending the full $5,000, $10,000, but spending the $20 to $200 to get somebody to help you get started. This also applies for interior design. So not just DIY, but interior design. If you're being true to yourself, you've pinned all the things on Pinterest, you know what you like, you've taken the time to do the research, and you still can't figure out how to make things cohesive or where to even start, you can hire an interior designer just to do a mood board for you for like $20. So it doesn't have to be hiring a professional to do the whole kit and caboodle, but you can hire them for assistance along the way. And my final tip is to enjoy the process. If you are designing your home and curating your space from a space of chaos and stress, that is going to be evident in your design choices. So relax, enjoy it, ask for help when you need it, and create your space from a space of calm. Starting there is going to help you long term. If every time you go into your closet, you're thinking about how stressed out you were when you were putting it together, that's going to impact how calm you feel in your space. If you're constantly thinking about the fact that like you hate this design decision that you made based off of finances, then that's going to show up in your space and it's going to prevent you from having the space that you deserve. So I hope that these tips were helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments. And as always, I will see you in the next one.